Holy moly, is that a lot of Flunderies players gathering for one regional? I'm back. 30% of you guys have not smashed the villain crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so we can get to 103,000. We have the breakdown for this weekend's side deck regional here. And this is actually kind of interesting. This is by far some of the highest Flunderies representation that I've seen out of one regional. I actually think that's kind of awesome that we can see, you know, Flunder and Pals getting the chance to perform a little bit better here. Now, we have two Sword Soul variants here. Now, I have, of course, whether or not these were the Sword Soul 10E Turbo variants or things like that, I've got them both grouped together for this video, so keep that in mind. But Sword Soul representation doing a little bit better here. Now, winning the event was evidently DB Grinder playing Bird Up, or so they said. So, going undefeated was Bird Up. You know, when was the last time that you guys saw Bird Up performing, even doing relatively well? I'm not sure on that, honestly, but I think that that's relatively interesting to see if that's the case here. We don't have the list for this. I assume DB Grinder will post it or something along the way here, but that goes to show that maybe there's some more exploring to be had in this format, ladies and gentlemen. We also had Based showing up, which is the combination hybrid engine deck. We've all been a massive fan of that pile of cards tearing through the metagame at this point in time, so you should be no stranger to that. We also had one Dragon Link deck in Top Cut. I don't think there will ever be a regional where you won't see Dragon Link at least in top 32 over and over and over again, considering the fact that this deck has just been such a mainstay in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! At this point in time that it's insane. We also had one Sky Striker in Top Cut as well, and I'm not gonna lie to you, when you get the chance to sit down and look at this list, you're just gonna be like, wow, that's a real pile of cards, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's really the best way to kind of wrap that up. Well, we're going to pass on over to those deck lists now, shall we? All right, the first list we have for you guys here is the second place Flunderies list here. Now, this was piloted by, I'm going to mispronounce this, Guan Liu, which, this is interesting. We're playing one extra with double prosperity. Okay, that's techie. I like that. I guess if this comes up, you're good to go. Honestly, looking at this list here, obviously one of the big things that we're seeing with this format is D-Shifter is a heck of a card, ladies and gentlemen. D-Shifter gets you a lot of free wins. I also like the fact we're main decking one Dark Ruler, siding the other Dark Ruler. So if this comes up that we need it, it's built in here. We also have one Harpy's Featherstorm built into the main, one down here in the side deck. Just in terms of tech ability here, you see a lot of very powerful things. I also see that we've extended out double Stormwind at this point in time. I have not seen a lot of players trying to extend out this package, actually. This opens up some really interesting ideas for Flunder players here. Maybe you want to give a second Stormwinds a try, because what if they out the first one? Then you can just deploy a second one during your opponent's turn off of, you know, like setting up an M-Pen or something, depending on how you open. I think this actually might be a game changer in terms of builds and future innovation here. I don't know, outside of that, one Mega Rise, a double M-Pen. You don't see any Snarls in this particular build. I know a lot of players have looked at Snarl in the past and went, you know, while Snarl is a good card and it does offer a little bit of leeway into what the deck strategies want to do, it still feels kind of short as opposed to what the rest of the game does here. And then, of course, one Stree and one Toucan Sam here, wrapping that up. Also, you can tell that, like, the hand trap ratios are a lot more teched out here via, you know, 2 Imperm, 2 of this. Of course, you have the one Called by the Grave in here. Yeah, I definitely like this. Next up here is, this was what, our fourth place. This was 3-axis based. So, of course, remember that this is the multiple engine hybrid deck where you take best advantage of all things here, but instead of, you know, doing like Eldritch shenanigans in here, we just are like, oh, we're just going to do 3-axis things where, you know, you have free psychic wielders, you deploy all these bodies. The only thing you care about is just getting to touchdown on the Hulk, set up Scythe combo, and laugh at your opponent. Unfortunately, is it crazy powerful? Oh yeah, absolutely. The fact that Magician or Illusion of Chaos turns your Magician Souls, you know, like this free advantage you get like off of a Draco back, for example, Faithful, you can turn your Faithful Adventure into a Draw 2, which generates more resources. I also like that this build is playing Crossout Designator. Some of these more 60-card variants can get away with, tagging out Crossout here, because you have more space in the deck, honestly. And I think that that's a good thing, ladies and gentlemen. Also, shout out here to Mayor for being one of the central driving points to this strategy. Just the fact that you get free token generation, so you can go, Synchro Summon, Synchro Summon, Synchro Summon for free. It's quite honestly crazy. Maybe Mayor should be banned sometime in the future. I think that's a really hot take, but interestingly enough, that's what you're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of 3 access the deck. Next up here is Dragon Link. This is a much more subtle version of what we've seen in the past for Dragon Link. Now, I find this very interesting. We are playing the Pendulum. Now, the Pendulum does come in and out of favor at this point in time. Some players like playing it, other players don't like playing it. The fact that it's a free deployment, also, you get a free pay 1,000, target one of your banished dragons, destroy this card, and you get to add it back to your hand. This card actually can be relatively anything that you want in terms of your resource pool for re-extensions. There's a reason why this card is very expensive, but looking at this deck, though, the other interesting thing down here is I see we're playing a Bread Hare here, which is just a Dragoonity plus a non-Dragoonity tuner. So when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, banish one Dragoonity monster from your graveyard, negate that activation, you do banish that target, and then if this card destroys the opponent's monster by battle after damage calculation, banish that opponent's monster. If the Synchro Summon card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can destroy all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. First of all, this is just big. Alright, the fact that you have a walking, talking negate here, because you're basically going to be putting one in the graveyard, as it is. The fact that you get free banishing, and the fact that your opponent out says you get a free back row board wipe for 3,300. This is definitely an interesting option to explore for Dragon Link. I don't really think a lot of players have considered this option. Honestly, I like cool options like this. Next up here is more Flunderies. Oh man, I'm actually glad to see that we got both Flunder lists for you guys here. Now this list here, we are playing the Pot of Extravagances versus the Pot of Desire, the Pot of Dig 6. Honestly, compared to this list and this one, first of all, the difference in Stormwinds is very, very interesting. Still, 2 Stormwinds versus 3 just opens up so many option trees that I kind of want to explore. And then to top things off here, just overall looking at how this deck functions, we have no Harpy's Featherstorms in the main deck here, which you got to ask yourself at this point in time is Featherstorm worth it? And I think the answer is yes, but I think it's going to come down to player preference at that point in time. While I really do like what Featherstorm gives to this deck, just in terms of offensive, destruction, I can see how you can get away with it. Also, this build is only playing a 1 end pen. Once again, I variations and things here. The other list played 1 Stritch versus 1 Toucan, which I also think is fine here. This list is also extended out into 3 Book of Moon versus the other list that played the Dark Ruler No More built into the main deck. So, options, ladies and gentlemen. You can see big differences between 2 Flunder players and Top Cut. And once again, diversity is a very good thing, ladies and gentlemen. I love option trees. Alright, next up here is that Sky Striker list. Holy moly. So this made 8th place here. This is going second, Brave Striker. So we have Kaiju's built into the main deck so we can break the opponent's board. Checkaroonie. We also have the Brave package splashed at 2 Water Enchantress, 3 red of Armesier. Okay, so that's some very basic stuff there. I have no problem with that. I see that we have the Triple Tactics talents built in so that we can get the free take control. Honestly, this is just going to be one of those things that you want to force your opponent to do something. Alright, if you can force your opponent into basically an activation, you're good. And then we actually have a transformation side deck down here, where we actually board into basically an artifact deck, which you have the 3 Lancia, you have the 1 Scythe, you have 2 Ignition, and then you have triple Sanctum down here, so that you'll just basically get a full aggression combo switch on your opponent. And your opponent's just going to be staring at you going, what in the heck just happened, ladies and gentlemen? And I agree with you. I'm looking at this right now and I'm like, Whew, that's some real interesting tech there, ladies and gentlemen. So that is your regional breakdown for this event. Are you really surprised to see that this is what performed relatively well? Because I love cool option trees like this, where you can mess around with different adaptability ideas. So guys, please leave a comment about what you guys think. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. And I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.